Hey guys, Adam here from Easy Body Fitness, and today we're just going to go over a few things on how to work out smarter and how to avoid injury for the future. So regardless of your age, whether you're young, whether you're older, whether you're in between that, if you're younger, you have the advantage because you're more flexible, you have more durability. Your joints and your muscles are more fresh. You're essentially going to be stronger. You're not going to have all the wear and tear that somebody, like at my age, essentially is going to have going on later in life. You want to make sure that you're doing your exercises correctly now so that years down the line, you're not going to have to suffer with some injuries. Being a physio assistant for a number of years and helping a lot of people out, I've seen plenty of injuries that could have been avoided if people just worked out smarter, or if they just essentially were to do things differently in their everyday life. There's a few things you got to keep in mind that we're going to go over, but it's about knowing how to do the exercises properly, knowing when to stop if the weight is too heavy, when to drop the weight, and essentially also just listening to your body. Okay, let's get into it. First one, stop ego lifting. This is especially for younger guys that are just getting into working out, because I see it a lot more with guys. I have been seeing it a lot more with guys over the past years that I've been training, and I've been training people. If you can't lift the weight, just lower it, put it down. You'll eventually get there, but if you can't do it now, don't lift it. Lower the weight, okay? Get something that you're able to do and push that weight. If you lift heavy weight that you're not going to be able to do, you're going to end up injuring yourself, plain and simple. And the fact that I still even have to explain this is still a little sad, because people know this already. There's plenty of information out there. There's plenty of things that you can look up. You can go put it in on Google, and within 2 seconds you'll get a list of things that will happen to you if you ego lift and if you can't lift the weight that you're supposed to be lifting. There's a number of injuries that you can get. Everything from like impingements to tears to essentially like just cosmetic injuries that you can get over time, aches, stuff like that. You're young now, do it properly, build yourself up, give yourself enough respect to lift the weight that you're able to lift. If you can't lift as much as somebody else, or you just can't lift as much as you want to, well, unfortunately it's too bad. You got to work yourself to get there. Unfortunately, you weren't blessed with the genetics of strength that maybe some of your friends or your family members or somebody on TV or somebody you've been comparing yourself to on online has. It is what it is. So when I first started working out, I was at 150 pounds. I didn't have a lot of strength. Now I'm now down to about 195 or so. But again, it's been about 12, 13 years of me going to the gym, pressing the weight, doing good form, watching my tempo. Initially, all the things that I've been talking about in all my videos has allowed me to get to where I am. So just stay patient. This is something that if you're just getting into, or you've been doing for a long time and you're still having issues with, just lower the weight. You want the contraction. You don't want to be able to just lug the weight around anyways. That's not what you want. You're going to get more optimal muscle growth through actually lifting the weight properly and also controlling the weight, okay? So that's the first one. Number 2, stop rebounding when you're weightlifting. And what is rebounding for those of you that aren't too sure what it is? Let's say you're doing a bicep curl. Bringing it up, down like this, okay? You're flying back against your joint. You're rebounding it back up, okay? Or you're swinging too much. You don't want to do that. That's going to cause a lot of pain and a lot of tear in your joints. It's just going to cause you problems left, right, and center. You're younger now. Your body's able to handle a lot of wear and tear as it's younger. Although again, if you push yourself too much, obviously you're not going to stop yourself from getting injured. This is also going to slowly cause damage down the line, and it's something that you want to avoid. Over time, taking in multiple factors, your genetics, the way you train, your nutrition, you're already going to slowly start getting worse and worse over time. As we age, past roughly the age of 30 to 35, we start to slowly die, right? Our cells don't start to recuperate as fast. Our body doesn't recover as fast as it used to. And the older we get, the worse it gets for us. So you want to be able to stay away from these injuries as much as possible. And you want to do that by keeping your form and staying away from rebounding like I just showed you. Another common rebounding move that people do, which I still see all the time, which isn't good for you, impacts a lot of joints and a lot of different muscles. Whether you have the bar or whether you don't have the bar and you're just doing body weight, when you're squatting, people go down and they bounce like this, right? You want to stay away from doing that. Puts a lot of pressure on your knee joints, a lot of pressure on your ankles, puts a lot of pressure on your hip joints, and over time, it's just gonna break them down even further. If not, you'll get injured already before that. Your lower back takes a little bit of a beating from that too, as it gets into a little bit of a dip maneuver. You want to stop doing that. You want to control the weight all the way down. Go to what your flexibility is allowing you to do. Don't force it, and then control on the way back up again. It's always about control, okay? Okay, the third one, stick to exercises that you know. What I mean by this is, I'm all for trying different exercises. I'm all for doing different unorthodox movements. I like those things, but you have to know when you're doing something that's going to cause you more harm than good. Obviously, before the coronavirus happened, when I was in the gym, I would see a lot of people just doing weird angled movements that you know are going to cause impingements for them later on, right? And again, it's not their fault. They probably have seen it from somebody else, or somebody was explaining it to them to show them how to do it. But you have to be careful when you're doing certain exercises like this, because they can cause injuries later on. You want to make sure you're doing them properly, right? Okay, 3, stretch. Almost nobody stretches, okay? From the years that, I've been training people, to when I was a physio assistant, to handling my clients and helping them rehabilitate, people either don't stretch or they don't stretch enough. You have to stretch. This is even going back to what I was saying before. Our cells don't grow back as much. We don't recover as easy as we used to. So you have to stretch. When you stretch out your muscles. Helps with flexibility and mobility in your body, okay? It's gonna allow your muscles to become more limber, and it's gonna cause you to be able to do certain exercises and movements without potentially getting injured, right? You have to stretch. It's very, very important. And I'll even add in there that you should be foam rolling too, okay? Not everybody is gonna be able to afford a masseuse and go to a masseuse all the time. The next best thing that you can do, foam roll, right? Take a few minutes out of your day, foam roll each body part. Do it after. You can even do it before you work out. Some people are going to disagree with me on that because they say it relaxes the muscle too much. Your body's already been up and moving around. It's fine. So you can do it definitely after. You can even do it before if you like, but definitely after. And you definitely need to warm up before and after as well. I would even dedicate more time to stretching. Like when I get up in the morning, I'm always putting 10 minutes to my stretching routine. You should at least be stretching 30 seconds or more per body part, and then treat it like your workouts. You create more progressive overload, meaning when that becomes too easy for you and you see that you're starting to get a lot more flexible and you can reach farther, then you increase the time, right? You go in a little bit further, you stay into it a little bit longer, treat it as a progressive overload, and you'll start to see that you'll even start to feel better. There's a lot of other added benefits with stretching other than just, getting your muscles more limber and getting the tightness out of them as well. So stretch more, try and do it daily. If you don't do it at all, start slowly. Add it 3 times a week, start at 30 seconds per body part, pick 5 or 6 stretches that you want to do, and then after a month, create a bit more progressive overload, make it a bit harder, and then go from there. 4, stop combining certain exercises because you're gonna get hurt doing them. And what I mean by that is, like, I've seen so many videos of, people still do it to this day, of getting on a Bosu ball and trying to do like dumbbell curls. I saw some guy doing a bench press with heavy weight while on a Bosu ball. Like, that's just stupid. You're gonna hurt yourself. I don't know what the basis of that is. If you're trying to build your chest, okay, get on a bench, get supported, and press the weight, okay? If you're trying to build your arms, get stable, stand straight, press the weight. If you want to work your core, you don't need to be doing that while on a Bosu ball and doing hammer curls or doing a bench press or shoulder raises, whatever the lateral raises, whatever the case may be. You pick an exercise and you do it in a smart way. If you want to combine certain exercises, if you want to, do a lateral raise and then you want to do a bicep curl and then you want to do a lunge, that's fine, that's okay. You're not going to end up hurting yourself that way. You're in a stable position, ready to perform the exercise without potentially getting hurt. So stop doing those exercises. They're not smart. You're not going to be benefiting yourself and getting more gains or, increasing your core or gaining more muscle by doing that, other than just either doing them separately or being in a station stance and then doing them right. Okay, 5, stop flopping around when you're working out. Get into position, stay steady, and then perform the workout. Stop moving around and using other body parts. Like if you're curling like this, stay straight, focus on the exercise, focus on the muscle, okay? I understand later into the set or even multiple sets in, it gets harder, it's starting to burn. Keep the form right, stick to what your tempo is, and contract whatever exercise you're doing. There is room for some cheat movement. That's gonna happen. Like I said, later into the exercises, it gets harder. But there's a difference between like this slight movement and like this, okay? Huge difference. They're two different things. One is not the other. It's okay to, have a little bit of a cheat movement. I'm all for that, as long as you're trying to keep towards the form and you're trying to contract as much as possible. You're keeping your tempo to what it's supposed to be, but you don't want to flop around like a fish. That's not what you want to do, because then you're completely taken away from the exercise. So you want to be able to have a little bit of a cheat movement, multiple sets in, and at a point when you've given it everything and you're tired and you're dead and you're trying to slug out those last little few. But again, it's a little bit of a movement. It's not going around and flopping around like crazy, because that's completely going against what you're trying to do, and you're not going to be hitting the muscle as hard as you should be. At that point, just drop the weight and take a break. 6, listen to your body. What I mean by this is, there are some times when our bodies, like if we have some aches and we have some pains, we're tired, and essentially we need to take a break. I've done this many times. I myself work out 6 to 7 days a week. I know people argue with me, oh, that's not good, you're not resting enough. It's like, yeah, but I've been doing this for a long time. I'm used to it. I like to train hard. My body responds well to it. And I've built myself up to that over the years. I didn't just do it overnight. It took a long time for me to be able to do that. But aside from that, you still have to listen to your body, when it's telling you that you need to take a rest, me included. So if you need to take a day off, or you need to take 2 days off, okay, take them. If you need to rest, or you need to cut the exercise, maybe you don't even feel like doing a full hour or an hour and 15 minutes, whatever your routine is, doing a little bit less is better than nothing. But also doing nothing and resting could also be good at the same time, because that's your body letting you know, hey, I need to take a break. And this can go for anybody. It can go for somebody like me who's been working out for a number of years, to somebody who's just starting out. So if your body's telling you to take a break, take a break. You don't have to be a hero about it. Don't feel guilty. Just go back the next day. Just stay disciplined the next time you go into the gym and you work out, and make sure you hit your routine as hard as you can. But listen to yourself and listen to your body. 7, stop neglecting other body parts because you don't like doing them. Mainly legs for those guys that don't like doing them because they just want to grow their upper body. You should be training everything, and you should be doing it equally. As equal as possible. For me, I had to do legs twice a week for a couple of years, or a bit more than that, because I needed to grow them. They weren't responding as much as, per se, my arms or my back. Same thing with my chest. Like, I had to put more time towards it, which I still do, because it doesn't respond as well as some of my other body parts. They lag. Genetically, that's just how I've been built. So I have to work on them a little bit harder than the others. But that being said, you should be giving time to everything. You want to balance out your body as much as possible, and you want to be able to give it a nice aesthetic look. But aside from that, you want to be able to apply the same respect and strength to all your different body parts than you are to other ones that you like doing. You never know when you're going to have to generate that strength in that body part that you're lacking in order to help somebody. So like, maybe there's going to be one time where there's like a shelf or something that's fallen on somebody, and you're going to need the power from your biceps or your chest to be able to push it off, right? And your shoulders as well. And if you're not working them as much, it could be detrimental to that situation that you're in. You hope you're never in a situation like that, but you never know, right? Your legs, you want to make sure that you have strength in your legs, because you never know if you're going to have to carry somebody and drag them out, because if they're unconscious, or God forbid somebody's house is on fire and you're the person there that just happens to be there that's responding to the situation. Like, these are real life situations that people go through. So, not to put a bit of a bad damper on it, but at the end of the day, it's just another reason why you should be training everything all together at the same time, right? Aside from the fact of wanting to look good and wanting to have everything aesthetically pleasing and matching as much as possible, think outside the box with everyday life situations that you could potentially be put in, a circumstance that you didn't see coming, right? So it's just another reason that I think it would be a good idea to work those lagging body parts, and just to work them all as much as possible, and equal everything out when you're in the gym. Just keep that thought in mind. And the last thing is, my last rule, this isn't really applied to this list, but I wanted to add it in just to basically give a note, especially to the younger generation, or the younger guys and girls that are working out, or even people that are of an older age that just started working out or getting back into it. Have fun with your workout. do things that you essentially gravitate to and want to try. Just make sure you're doing it properly, or seek the help of a professional that's going to show you how to do it properly, but have fun with it at the same time. Working out doesn't always have to be serious. It doesn't always have to be so grueling and intense, although, you know, it should be goal oriented, and you should have an idea in mind on what you want to do, so that, because I'm a very firm believer in, when you have a goal in front of you, you're working towards that, you have something to strive for, and when you reach that, you keep going and you move on to something more. So it should be goal oriented, but at the same time, along the way, have fun with it. Try different things, do things that you gravitate towards. Try an exercise that you've been wanting to try. Just make sure you're not standing on a Bosu ball and trying to do like shoulder raises. Make sure you're doing it in a smart way, and make sure that you're not going to get hurt from it. And again, if you don't know how to exactly perform the exercises that you want to try, ask for help. Ask somebody that you know has knowledge when it comes to fitness and it comes to working out. But just make sure when you try these different exercises, be smart about it, perform them in the right way, and take it slow. You don't have to jump at everything right away. Just take your time with it, have fun with it. Everything takes time, and eventually you'll get to where you want to be with it. All right, guys, that's the end for this video. Hopefully you liked it. Hopefully you can take some of the things I was talking about in the video and you can apply it to your everyday workout. If you liked what you saw, just comment, like, subscribe, and share. Download my free playbook, which is down below. And I'll see you guys in the next video.